So last night, Ajahn Cunda was touching on several important factors that we can bring to mind, just how those can come up in puja or just a Saturday night. And a lot of it is just kind of bringing the mind to a wholesome state. And it's easy when we're doing things just to kind of let the mind slide. Even just bowing or chanting, could even be listening to a Dhamma talk. It's just sort of, I've already been there, done that. And then the mind moves into whatever mood or thought process, story it inclines to. And so we basically have each moment to change the intention of our own minds. We have this opportunity. So we can kind of let it slide into our typical unwholesome states, which are easier for us, easier to kind of complain or find something negative about a situation. And that's because just the tendencies for greed and hatred, fear, worry, they're just very easy emotions until one is enlightened. That's those can be the predominant factors, what are called defilements. And that's why the Buddha really expressed how difficult this practice is, being the most difficult thing one can really do as an activity in the world with a human life. So when we're doing things like, you might have heard, I'm on the work scene again, and this is going to be I hate those concrete bags, or whatever it is. Just remember that it's always our choice how we move the mind towards the wholesome or the unwholesome. It's something that we're not forced into. And oftentimes people can get into a lot of debate around free will and whether there's really free will. And that's fine. I mean, it's fine to kind of debate those things, but it doesn't really deal with the fact that our whole process here is to make an effort into the wholesome direction, rather than just kind of giving into, there's no free will, so it's not really ordained by me as to what I can or can't do. Everything just leading up to each point is already determined. There's nothing I can really change. And that's not, it's not really helpful, because if then the mode is to just backslide, it's not going to be helpful to us. And even if there is no free will, we can still see that there is the wholesome and the unwholesome, and we're still engaging with that. So when we go to a work scene like this, we know there's going to be a lot of work. When we're walking back and forth, there's going to be a lot of people. We can keep reminding ourselves that any time that we're suffering, any time there's discomfort, something that's unpleasant, we can change that for ourselves. Something like the work period doesn't have to be an experience of begrudging aversion. Why me? I'd rather be in the kitchen, or whatever it might be. And we can lift ourselves up, just as Ajahn Cunda was talking about, with these many factors of wholesomeness, of recollecting our own generosity. Oh, this is good, this is great, I'm helping out, I'm doing something kind. And when we do that, then we see that the mind is bolstered. It actually is buoyed by that mindset to the point where happiness can arise, letting go. And it's so much easier to just stay stuck in our own kind of recollections of it shouldn't be like this, it should be different. So it's a real challenge to ourselves to try to bring that to mind. It's work for us, but it comes with an enormous payoff, because the more we incline our minds towards the wholesome, then that will be the inclination the Buddha talks about. What it is that one thinks and ponders about, that will be the inclination of the mind. And that's the same with developing the wholesome. The more that we push ourselves in that direction, then the easier it is for us to have the habit of creating wholesome mind states. Gergely is leaving today. He was here for, I think it's been about 2 months. And he's been part of these this work project for most of those months, carrying in items back and forth. Some items that he carried in, he's also carrying out. So that it's kind of, I carried this in and now I'm carrying it out again. Like, what? This is ridiculous. This is so inefficient. Such a waste of time. And that I never heard that. I never heard a complaint, not once, from the last 2 months. And so what is that? At least we can say that the outward expression of that's the mode of speech, and that was prevented. That kind of coming out with speech negativity is ridiculous. I don't want to do this anymore. And so I'm guessing that the mind state wasn't in that direction either, but at least I can see the speech wasn't. And so that's, we can guard that, and it's, of course, speech is coarser than what we think about, how we think. But we just can keep working on these levels, these levels of what we're doing with our bodies, our actions of body and our speech. And with our mind, we just keep tuning into how we can make a difference with the mind states we carry around what is wholesome and what is unwholesome, what is towards the negative, the darker states, or bringing ourselves to the brighter states. And this is a reminder that we need to bring with us all the time. It's something that we can recollect, and especially when we're around others, it's easy to kind of move into some sort of frivolous speech, or even saying, like, encouraging each other in something that's negative. And so also being careful about that for ourselves, but also trying not to be swayed by others, if that's the inclination of others' minds. So we have all these ways to try to guard our experience and to be aware, and then to keep reminding ourselves that as we move into more and more wholesome experiences, then we end up creating so much less suffering for ourselves. And that will lead us to the ultimate realization, to Nibbana.